Jasmine Crockett, the sharp-witted and unapologetically bold congresswoman from Texas, appeared on Piers Morgan uncensored, expecting a heated exchange. But no one could have anticipated what unfolded live on air. The discussion began as expected, tense but civil. Piers Morgan pressed Crockett about her vocal criticism of certain media figures, questioning whether she truly believed in free speech or merely wanted to silence dissent. Crockett, ever poised, pushed back forcefully, explaining that what she opposes is not free speech, but harmful propaganda disguised as journalism. As the exchange intensified, Morgan accused her of slandering him on social media in recent weeks. He read aloud one of her past posts in which she called him a relic of colonial arrogance, hiding behind a British accent. Rather than backing down, Crockett looked directly into the camera and calmly stated that what she had written was both true and constitutionally protected on then. With the precision of a trained attorney, she revealed the real bombshell. She was serving Morgan with a defamation lawsuit live. The moment stunned the studio. Piers Morgan blinked in disbelief, unsure if she was joking or making a political point. But Crockett wasn't smiling. She reached into a leather folder she had brought with her, pulled out a sealed manila envelope, and handed it directly to a stunned production assistant. "That's for you, Mr. Morgan," she said coolly. "I'm holding you accountable for repeatedly mischaracterizing my words, publishing libelous headlines, and engaging in targeted misinformation campaigns." Morgan stammered, then laughed awkwardly, clearly rattled. "You can't sue me for doing my job," he said. But Crockett wasn't having it. She laid out point by point how Morgan's platform had aired falsehoods about her political positions, misrepresented her speeches, and repeatedly implied criminality with no evidence. "You want accountability? Here it is, live, public, and unapologetic," she said. The clip of her words, her posture, and Morgan's visible discomfort began going viral before the episode had even finished airing. Social media platforms exploded within minutes. Hashtags like Jasmine serves Piers and Crockett goes live trended globally. Users reposted the moment with stunned reactions, some calling her a hero, others claiming the scene was staged. Journalists began dissecting the legal document, which her office confirmed was real. Filed in a U.S. federal court with an attached affidavit documenting at least 15 instances of Morgan's network falsely attributing inflammatory quotes to Crockett. Legal analysts quickly jumped in, debating whether a British host broadcasting to an international audience could be sued under U.S. defamation laws. Crockett's legal team had anticipated those questions, noting in the suit that Morgan had repeatedly targeted her via platforms operating in the U.S. and maintained an editorial partnership with American outlets. It wasn't just a political stunt. It was a meticulously planned legal and rhetorical strike. Back in the studio, Morgan tried regaining control of the conversation. He insisted that his program gave fair airtime to critics of every political stripe, and that robust journalism requires asking difficult questions. Crockett, unshaken, responded that journalism requires integrity, and that what Morgan had done repeatedly crossed ethical lines. She cited specific on-air comments, including a moment when his panel accused her of inciting violence, despite no evidence. "I will not allow you to brand me as dangerous when all I've done is speak up for justice," she declared. Her tone was firm but composed, and the audience could sense the gravity of what was unfolding. Morgan, now visibly flushed, asked if she would be willing to drop the suit in exchange for a public debate. Crockett smirked and said, "You've had the chance to debate. This is the consequence for what you chose to do instead." That moment was screen captured and became the dominant meme of the day. Cable news and online media lit up with coverage of the confrontation. MSNBC praised Crockett's move as unprecedented but powerful, while conservative outlets blasted her as an opportunist, using legal threats to suppress dissent. Legal experts flooded TikTok and YouTube, some praising the brilliance of Crockett's timing and others cautioning that the suit faced jurisdictional hurdles. Meanwhile, Crockett's office released a statement confirming the validity of the suit and explaining that her decision to go public was about transparency and accountability in an age of weaponized misinformation. The statement emphasized her broader goal, to set a legal precedent that holds. Major media figures responsible when their influence is abused. Morgan's team, on the other hand, released a terse rebuttal, saying they refute all claims and believe the lawsuit to be an act of political intimidation. The line only intensified online reactions. Meanwhile, Jasmine Crockett was hailed as a force of nature by supporters. Artists and activists quickly began using her image on graphics, titled The Reckoning, and an avalanche of donation links and fan-made merch followed. Late-night hosts like Stephen Colbert and Trevor Noah featured the clip, analyzing it with a mix of humor and admiration. When you serve a lawsuit on live TV, you're not just playing Shashore flipping the whole board, Noah quipped. Even those previously unfamiliar with Crockett now knew her name. Her social media accounts gained hundreds of thousands of new followers overnight. On Instagram, she posted a clip of the moment with a simple caption, "Truth has teeth." Meanwhile, Piers Morgan declined interviews for several days, choosing instead to tweet a quote from Winston Churchill about criticism being the price of leadership, a move that drew eye rolls even from some of his supporters as the legal wheels began to turn. Journalists obtained a copy of the full complaint. It was over 70 pages long and laid out a comprehensive timeline of what Crockett's legal team described as systematic defamation through repetition. It included transcripts, screenshots, and testimony from former media consultants, who anonymously confirmed that editorial decisions were made with the goal of antagonizing Crockett's image for ratings. One of the most damning pieces of evidence was a leaked email from a producer suggesting a segment title that read, "Crockett's Radical Agenda Threat or Theory." Crockett's legal team argued that such framing was not only irresponsible but intentionally inflammatory. Media watchdog groups began weighing in, saying this could become a landmark case for political defamation and media ethics. Universities planned panels. Advocacy organizations pledged support. What had begun as a viral moment was evolving into a national movement in private. Reports emerged that Morgan was furious with his producers for not warning him about the possibility of a legal ambush. One insider claimed Morgan had threatened resignations unless tighter vetting of guests was enforced. However, many inside the network admitted that the condom's oversight was less about vetting and more about arrogance. They underestimated Crockett. Piers Morgan had built a reputation on provocation, but this time he had met a subject who fought back with more than just sharp words. Legal analysts began debating whether this marked a turning point in how politicians deal with media attacks. Would others follow her lead? Some already had rumors swirled that other public figures were quietly reviewing past media coverage for inaccuracies and bias. Whether Crockett's case would win in court remained to be seen, but its influence had already reached far beyond legal chambers. Eventually, Piers Morgan broke his silence with a televised segment in which he addressed the lawsuit head-on. He stood by his previous criticisms of Crockett, but claimed the suit was an attack on press freedom. His tone was defensive, lacking the usual bravado that fans associated with him. Crockett's camp responded by pointing out that accountability is not censorship. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater and then claim it was free speech, her statement read. Civil rights leaders began rallying to Crockett's side, and public opinion polls showed a surprising tilt in her favor among moderates. The lawsuit wasn't just about her anymore. It was about redefining the line between journalism and slander in a world where headlines travel faster than truth. Crockett had triggered something that would take months, if not years, to fully play out, but it had already reshaped the battlefield. What began as a typical political media spar had erupted into a full-blown legal and cultural battle. Jasmine Crockett didn't just walk into a lion's den. She built a cage around it and then handed the lion a court summons. Her actions sent a clear message to political commentators everywhere. Your platform doesn't exempt you from accountability. Whether her lawsuit succeeds in court may not be the point anymore. It has already succeeded in shifting the narrative around how media giants interact with elected officials, especially those from marginalized communities. The public saw a woman who refused to be cornered by a system designed to mock and distort her voice. In that moment, live on television, she changed the rules of engagement. And as the internet replayed her stare, her voice, her precision, millions understood exactly why that moment went viral.